Sup, bitches? Another day. Another great day of getting to enjoy God's blessings. Got some coffee with me today. I don't drink it every day anymore, but it's very nice. I'm going to try and keep it at every other day at max. And, if I go any further than that, I keep it to special occasions because I don't want to become dependent on it and whatnot. Coffee is a great drug. It induces euphoria and it makes you happy and energetic and just loving what's going on around you. But when you drink it every day, you lose that. You don't get to feel those good, happy feelings anymore from it. And it just kind of drains you almost. It has the opposite effect when you drink too much of it and get dependent and just drink coffee. And every day you wake up and make coffee like it's yeah, I don't think that's good. So at most every other day is my goal. So I'm waiting to see if any bears pop in the chat. It would be cool to talk. And if not, I will talk to myself, which is totally fine. I do that all the time. So last stream, I was covering what I called the 5 spheres of intimacy, which I came up with myself one day. And it's just a framework that I developed to take a certain perspective on, how you progress through a relationship with someone and how you open up to them. I'll play a few chords to set the mood. I don't know if the tuning got messed up or if it sounds different because it's cold. Because it usually doesn't sound like that. So the 5 spheres of intimacy turned into what I call now the 7 spheres of intimacy, because I added a pre and post intimate sphere. So that being said, so the pre-intimacy sphere is just about getting to know somebody and seeing if you vibe with them. And if you want to use those words, it's trying to find a connection or just form a connection, see if something is there. And if it is, if you feel a connection with somebody after getting to know them, that's when you can move into the actual spheres of intimacy, which are, the main 5 are intellectual, personal, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And then the 6th sphere of intimacy, I envisioned as reaching and encapsulating the very end of the spiritual sphere, like on the outside curve of it, and then it circles all the way back to the beginning part of intellectual intimacy. and then it closes the loop. It's just like a sphere with the other 5 spheres contained in it. So that's the post intimacy sphere. And with that, it's you can freely move around through all the 5 spheres. You have completed the path of intimacy, and now you are able to go back into each sphere as you choose, and through your time together, it can grow. The other 5 spheres can grow and fill the gaps that are present in the sixth sphere. Or alternatively, they can shrink and you can become deficient in one of the spheres. And a lot of this depends on like how truthful you were in your relationship through the intimacy process. Did you tell the truth? Were you honest? Were you just did you say it how it was? Did you not try and mislead them through any of it? Or were you being deceitful or false in some of your intimate times? Because if you were, once you complete this 5 spheres and you get into post intimacy, that's all going to come out, and you're going to find where you were either lacking or where you were leading them astray. So yeah, that's the 7 spheres of intimacy as I envision it now. Hopefully, oh, it's not going to work. Come on. Interesting. So I guess nobody wants to talk to little old Anthony. That's okay. So, what's going on? I'm getting into Anthroposophy. And the Anthroposophical movement was created by Rudolf Steiner, who seemed to have been a pretty cool guy and had his intellectual thought reached many areas of life. Well, actually, his spiritual thought as well, intellectual and spiritual, and they go hand in hand. Oh yeah, and in the 5 spheres, once you get through the 5 spheres after spiritual intimacy in the post intimate sphere, the 5 spheres, which have been kind of laid on top of each other as a Venn diagram, with each one interlapping with the next, intellectual and spiritual are on the opposite end. So in the post intimate sphere, it kind of closes in and collapses in on itself, where the spiritual sphere and the intellectual sphere overlap. But in the beginning, when you're going through the spheres initially, they don't overlap. You start with intellectual, it overlaps with personal, that overlaps with emotional, that overlaps with physical, that overlaps with spiritual. But spiritual does not overlap with intellectual until you reach the post-intimate sphere, and then it's like this. That's how I see it. So, yeah, Rudolf Steiner was into a lot of things. A lot of people came to him asking for advice in many walks of life, many areas of culture and society. And he just did his best to say what needed to be improved upon so that humans could live a better life through these, endeavors. So, two of those things are one is biodynamic farming, which I don't know too much about, but it seems pretty interesting and pretty useful. Like, really, really useful, and it actually works at like revitalizing the earth and just making amazing soil, and can grow so much stuff because you're like saturating the soil with so many nutrients. It's amazing. A guy was telling me yesterday he has a biodynamic farm, and I was working for him a little bit. He said at one point, many years ago, we had like 8 inches of rainfall in like one day or something, 1 or 2 days. And when he went back to the farm, he was expecting there to be like massive runoff and, the normal stuff that comes with an incredible amount of rainfall. And what he said is that his fields were like jello. They retained all the moisture. And when he walked through the fields, he just went to like above ankle deep in mud. But it was like it stayed where it was because it just held in all that moisture. Because it was like a sponge. Whereas most fields and farmland these days are like hard, like a rock sometimes. Like they're very dense and hard, and they can't retain a lot of moisture. But with biodynamic farming, you create soil and land that is so nutrient dense that it lightens and it becomes airy, and it's able to just take in all the moisture and hold it because it has so much space. And that sounded really interesting. Like that's really interesting. So yesterday at the biodynamic farm, I power washed about 1,000 cow horns. And the dude told me that 90% of the cow horns that biodynamic farmers use in the United States comes from him in my little town in Wisconsin. It's kind of amazing, really. So cow horns are used as one of the 9 preparations of biodynamic farming. You fill it with cow manure and bury it during the winter months. And then once you unbury that in the spring, he said there's like what's inside at the end is like this thick, like really thick gelatinous black goo almost, like really dark goo. And it has like 10 times the amount of nutrients that any other type of compost or soil has. He said tests have been run on it, and the people that tested are like, we have no idea what the fuck this is, but it has an incredible amount of nutrients, more than anything we've ever seen. Hello, Maxed Out Bear. Good to see you. I was hoping somebody would possibly come to chat, but I've just been talking to myself for a bit. No, I would not blame you if you just left immediately. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Sounds like, yeah. Have you ever heard of Rudolf Steiner and biodynamic farming? Because that's what I was talking about. I was talking about one of the preparations where you fill a cow horn with cow manure and bury it in the winter months. And then when you take it out in the spring, it's like just crazy filled with nutrients. So yeah, you've heard of him. I discovered who Rudolf Steiner was about a month ago. Had no idea who he was, had no idea what anthroposophy was or any of this shit. Yeah, don't know anything about it. It is interesting, dude. So interesting. And I don't know that much because I'm still fairly new to it. But so in my little town in Wisconsin, there is a apparently a very large anthroposophical community. Like lots and lots of people are learned from, Rudolf Steiner's teachings and are applying it to their lives. So like people are just doing all sorts of stuff. And I started going to a community that meets every Sunday. It's something that Steiner created and envisioned for the future of Christianity. Which one? Biodynamics? Or is there a different word I said? I don't know. Oh, anthroposophy? Yeah, I that was a weird word that I had, never said before. Took me a minute to like be able to say it, and I still struggle a little bit. But so I was told that, way back when, 1920s or something, whatever, the priests of the day that were in Europe, some of them at least, they came to Rudolf Steiner and they asked him what they could do to improve the church and move Christianity in a new direction because, yeah, anthroposophy. No. Because these priests, they saw that people were going away from the church. They saw that they were losing followers and people weren't into it anymore. So like 100 years ago. And of course, whenever somebody comes to Rudolf Steiner, he's with a question, they want answers from him. He does his best to research and, look into the spiritual worlds and whatever, and use his gifts to give information. Google wants me to think it means philosophy based on the premise that the human intellect has the ability to contact spiritual worlds. Well, that is one of the underlying tenets, is that through our thinking, we can like consider it imagination, but it's not like yeah, part of it is taking a new perspective on what imagination is. Like you can either think that it's all just made up jargon, garbage inside your head that comes from nowhere and has no connection to the real world, or you can consider the fact that it's real, just as real as the thoughts are, just as real as anything else. When we envision like what is behind the thing in itself, or like trying to find the thing in itself, like as Goethe was into. He was doing it with plants, and Steiner was highly influenced by Goethe. It was like the first person he wrote a book about. So obviously he took it further than Goethe and was applying it to everything in the world and tried to get to the thing in itself and see that and see it for what it was through the intellect, through thinking and imagination, envisioning. So it is part of, what Google says. And what was I talking about? I was talking about the revival of the Christian community, I think. So the priests came to Steiner. They're like, hey, we see people aren't coming to church anymore. We don't know what's happening. How can we move the church in a new way to, bring people back? And then he talked about it. And I don't know what he talked about necessarily, but what came from that was this movement of Christian community revival. Like, so there's one of those communities in my little town, and we meet every Sunday. And what it is, it's usually like 12 to 15 people. We sit in a circle, and it's like a 45-minute long thing where we light a candle in the center. We read a scripture verse. We read another verse from some other book. And then we sit in quiet contemplation for 20 minutes. Anybody can say anything they want. Usually we try and like talk about the verses we read that day and like, try and tease through the information. But if nobody wants to say anything, we just sit there in silent meditation for 20 minutes. And then, Oh, before that we like sing a song and whatever. And then after that, we after the 20 minutes, we read another verse and somebody plays a little music and we sing another song and then that's pretty much it. And then we put out the candle and it's like, okay, yeah, have a good day, everybody. Like chit chat if you want. It's like a great community thing. I've met a bunch of people already from it. Like I met an herbalist who I'm doing an apprenticeship with now. Like, what the fuck? I met this biodynamic farmer who I'm working on his farm now. And there's just so many cool people. And I was like, I had no idea any of this existed whatsoever a month ago. And now I am like fully immersing myself in the community and just trying to take in as much information as I can from everybody because they're all interesting people. They all have something good to say. It is awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It is awesome. I'm hyped. I'm 100% hyped. Like I just went from working at a lumber yard for the past 6 months to now being an apprentice herbalist and helping a guy out on his biodynamic farm whenever I want. And I already like do side work for a different guy who's not an anthroposophist, but he's a cool guy that pays me well. And I do math tutoring as well for one person every so often. It's fun. I'm living a pretty good life currently. Like I'm really happy. I don't know where it's gonna lead, but we'll see. I'm happy. So, how old are you maxed out there? If you don't mind me asking. Like, are you a middle-aged guy? Younger middle-aged guy? Are you an old guy? Are you a girl? I don't know. It's cool. Whatever it is. If you don't want to say, you should have some of your live streams like this one because I think some people would find them interesting, and otherwise, the only one who sees it is me, and that's by sheer luck. You're an old ass motherfucker. What do you mean I should have some of my live streams like this one? That's what I'm doing, right? I am live streaming right now. And you are the only one here by sheer luck. So, I'm trying to ladle as much gravy as I can for anybody who comes, which is usually nobody. Oh yeah, I do. At least the past 3 that I've done, I've saved as a post so that anybody who like sees it in my feed can look at it and be like, "Hey, what the fuck is this retard saying?" Yo, I do. Because yeah, especially like sometimes I go back and re-listen to some of what I say just to like refresh or see what I was talking about at a certain time. So I definitely save all of them. And I stream on YouTube at the same time. So like I've got like 50 streams there probably going back like a year. So like some of them are really terrible content and like I went through like major depression because of life events and like I was talking through a lot of it and like so when I go back and look at those videos like I don't relive the moments but I'm taken back to where I was in that head state in that space of mind and it's just really really weird. Oh, okay. You're not you're not an old ass motherfucker if you're 42. You're twice the age of me, but you're the same age as Owen, so Just extremely juvenile and vulgar. That's great. That is. Why shouldn't you be? Why not? Um, you have a wife? Are you looking for a wife? Are you seeking a companion in this life? Have you had a wife? Are you divorced? Do you have kids? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too personal, but I'm just interested in who Maxed Out Bear is. And I'm wondering, like, what's all the music on your stories? Is it like a remix type thing that you do and then post them? I don't know. But yeah. Anthroposophy, Rudolf Steiner, biodynamics, eurythmy is another thing that's part of the anthroposophy. And the herbalist guide teaches eurythmy, which is like a form of, like, I don't want to call it dance, but it's like body movement. And there are eurythmy performances that people put on where it's like a big group of people and it's like all synchronous and like they're doing all these like gestures and everything in perfect harmony, and it's like really cool to see, I'm sure. But at a like base level, when you're doing eurythmy with a little group, I feel you, bro. I went through a severely catastrophic health situation not long ago and I'm rebuilding. Okay, well, I hope you're doing well. Um, Truly, I hope the rebuilding process is fruitful and treating you well, and that you've at least, you know, catastrophic health situation can mean a lot of things. It could be something that happened completely out of your control, or it could have been something that you induced for yourself and kind of dug yourself a hole. But either way, there's something to learn from, I'm sure. And I hope you're finding truth in it. All good. Prayers up. So, I'll get this. Get this. So usually I take cold baths in the morning, and I went to the bathroom to fill up my bathtub, and fucking dirt water. Like, not completely brown, but once the bath was filled, it looked brown. It was nasty, like dirty water. And apparently they were flushing all the hydrants last night, because I saw one up the street around midnight. They were flushing it and it was just spraying for a long time. And now the water is just like this bad tinge of brown, and it's not going away. I filled up the bath 3 times and it's still brown. It's so nasty. And I live in a trailer park, and I guarantee you 99% of the people that live in this trailer park are drinking that water and know nothing about it. They're not checking to see if it's brown. They're not checking anything. They're just drinking the dirt water. I guarantee it. 99% of the people here. It's so nasty. Like, I don't drink the water from the tap. I get water from a machine at the food co-op is what it is we have here. So, I feel a little bit safer, but I didn't take a bath in the water because that just seemed kind of nasty. And I don't know when it's going to go back to being clear. Like, I ran that bath water for a long time and it is still brown. And supposedly they say, like, oh yeah, after an hour or like, a little bit, once you run the water for a few minutes, like, oh, it'll be back to normal. It'll be clear. You don't have to worry. Like, you're not going to, as long as you run the water a little bit, you're not going to drink any of it. Nothing's going to get inside. And it's like, are you sure about that? Because I just filled 4 bathtubs full of water and It's still brown. It's fucking nasty. My hair's a mess. Sorry. Since I'm gonna bail, I'll answer your other two questions, comments. You're gonna bail, Maxed Out Bear? How dare you? How dare you? I'm gonna be so lonely. Have nobody to talk to. What the fuck? Oh, Double Dog, dare you? I was with you, Maxed Out Bear. I was fucking with you until you said you're gonna bail. I am not married, but was when I was younger. No kids. Okay. Understandable. That happens. It does. I was engaged like a year ago. I was with a girl from high school for 5 years, and we got engaged at Christmas of 2021, and it just fell apart from there. I never should have stayed in that relationship for as long as I did. You know, should have probably kept it at like 2 years. But then I went to college and she went to college and we started living together and it just got messier and messier. And whew, yeah, it took a literal psychotic break for me to be able to break up with her. Which is, you know, all good because I'm happy, you know, I'm happy where I am now and like I'm feeling sane. The health situation per your comment question was allegedly not my own doing, or however one would say that, but one never really knows. That's a talk for another day. Understandable. Understandable. Life is a strange road, but it's a fun one. A very fun one. It you know, it has lots of steep hills, and then you free fall down, and then these crazy turns that just go like perpendicular to where you were headed, and then it's just like, nope. Happens all the time, but there is that path through the middle of all of it, which we should all try and follow. 100% the most fun trip ever. Yeah. Amazing daily. Absolutely. Every day is a gift from God, and we should all feel blessed to be able to live it every single day. Every day is a miracle, and there are miracles happening all around you every single day. It's a great thing. Coffee, yeah. I love coffee. I know I suck for leaving, but I'd rather say peace out properly than just bailing without saying anything. I appreciate that. That's cool of you. So, peace out. Good chatting. I'm glad you popped in. Here's the miracles. Yes. Have a good day. And I'm going to, yeah, adios. I'm going to chat about some other random shit that pops into my head, I guess. God bless. We'll see. What will I get into? I don't know. That was fun. I'm liking this ukulele. It's fun. So, yeah, we got to chat with Maxed Out Bear a little bit. That was fun. I'm glad he popped in. Now I'm back by myself. See if I have anything else to say. I don't know. Wow. Yeah, fun stuff. I need to pee, but I'll be okay. I can hold it. I'm not a bitch. I'm not a fucking bitch. You might be. You might be. So, the Bertaria Times app. A wonderful place. Truly a wonderful place. If you don't have it, get it, because it is, I believe, $15 a year. Pretty sure that's what it is. $15 a year. So if you can't afford that, then fuck you. Like you I don't know what you're doing if you can't afford something that's $15 a year that provides immense wealth. So much good, true, and beautiful comes from that app. And that's what it's there for. It's there for the good, the true, and the beautiful. So it's a social media app. It's a replacement for the degenerate things like Facebook and Instagram and all of them. The Bertaria Times app. It's an amazing resource. So many different kinds of groups, community building. You know, you get to see everybody's homesteads and happy families. It just gives you so much hope for the world. It's like, wow, this is really happening. This is real. People are doing it. They're doing good. They're living a beautiful life. They're speaking truth. It's all amazing. And so, on the Bertaria Times app, there's a singles community where you can post and try and find other singles out there that are maybe in your area or maybe they're in a different country, and you know, see one of their posts, like it, try and connect on the app, like request a message and just see where it goes. Like, you know, you're just people on the internet, but you're at a, you know, you're both paying for this app. You both come to it with a certain awareness. You know, there's some, you know, at the very least, you're somewhat like-minded if you're on the app. So, you know, it's a great place to meet people, meet other singles. It's mostly a lot of guys, if I'm being honest. It's a pretty much a rooster club, but there are some females for sure, and they all seem nice. And I met a beautiful 23-year-old lady from the singles community on the Bertaria Times app, and she's really cool. And we've talked the past 3 days on a video chat at night, and it's going great. She's got a great spirit to her. You know, she keeps an open heart and an open mind. So, like, I don't have to feel weird about saying things and speaking my mind and sharing my opinion. And also, like, we see eye to eye on a lot of things. So it's like, I'm not dealing with a degenerate here. I'm not dealing with someone who thinks abortion is good and healthcare and, like, not murder. I'm not dealing with someone who promotes the gay agenda and is like into all that. Like, it's great so far. 100%. In all honesty, it's great. And, you know, I am excited to see where it goes. I explained to her and walked her through the 7 spheres of intimacy. And currently we are in the intellectual sphere. And we're doing our best to stay in the boundaries of that. We're not jumping to the personal sphere. We're not going into emotional sphere. We're like, we started with the pre-sphere of intimacy, where we're just getting to know each other, seeing if we can form a connection, And pretty much after the first night where we talked for 2 hours, it's like, yeah, I see a connection here. I'm willing to see where it goes and enter into the realm of intimacy with you. And she was like, yeah, same. This is cool. You're cool. So we did. We agreed to enter the intellectual sphere of intimacy with each other. And then, you know, talked for 3 hours the next night, talked for 2 hours the night after that, and it's just been going great. Um, I so so the transition from the sphere of pre-intimacy into the intellectual sphere is connection. If you can form a connection with somebody, then that's when you can feel good about entering the spheres of intimacy. To go from intellectual to personal, you need trust. To go from personal to emotional, you need care for the other human being. Feel care for them. Emotional to physical, you need desire, and not in a bad sense, but just the desire to connect with another human being, like touch, physical touch, the desire for touch, not in like a sex way, like none of that jazz. Just being in physical contact with another human being. You desire it naturally. Every human does. It's innate. We need it. So there's that. To go from physical intimacy to spiritual, you need love. 100%. You need love to enter the realm of spiritual intimacy. You cannot enter it without love being present. And to go from spiritual to the post sphere of intimacy, acceptance. Do you accept the person for everything? Who they are, what they've been through, all the 5 spheres combined? Do you accept it? With acceptance, you can enter into the sphere of post intimacy, where you can grow the other spheres. So, me and this girl, we're in the intellectual sphere right now. Have been for 2 days of talking, and I think I'm developing trust for her. And with that, I think I'm ready to enter into the personal sphere. And I'm going to talk to her about it, see what she thinks, see if she feels any trust for me yet. Because if she does, and if we both have trust for each other, we can mutually agree to enter the realm and sphere of personal intimacy. And in my mind right now, I haven't entered in, but I opened the door to personal intimacy. I open the door and I'm looking in and I'm waiting to enter and cross through the doorway until I talk to her and we both agree. Because, of course, with the spheres of intimacy, people progress at different rates in any relationship, in any dynamic between two people. One person progresses through and moves at a different rate than the other. So I think it's really good to try and check in with the other person as you're going along to, just see where they're at, what they're thinking. Do they want to enter into the next sphere of intimacy, or do they want to kind of stay where they're at? And they haven't, maybe to go from intellectual to personal, maybe they haven't developed trust for you yet. Maybe they're still working with that and being like, I'm still kind of working through what this guy thinks, seeing how I feel about it, all that jazz. Maybe not. Maybe you both agree at the same time. It's like, yeah, I have trust for you. I'm ready to enter into the realm, the sphere of personal intimacy. Let's do it. And then you can. And then it's not like you go straight into 100% personal everything and trauma dump. No. There's the overlap between the intellectual sphere and the personal sphere. There's this overlap here. And then everything else, but the overlap is where you're playing both sides. You're still in the intellectual sphere, but you're entering into the personal sphere. So you try and start feeling comfortable sharing personal experiences, things you've gone through, whatever has made you the person you are. Personal history. That's what the personal sphere of intimacy is. It's just sharing your experiences, the things you've gone through, everything that has made you the person you are. And when you're only in the intellectual sphere, you're just talking about your thoughts, your ideas, and your opinions. You're not tying it to your personal experiences yet. Once you get into that overlap, that's when you're talking about your thoughts, ideas, and opinions with a connection to the personal experiences that have led you in that direction and given you insights. That's the overlap. Then you can go further into the personal sphere without having to you don't always have to explain your intellect with it. You don't have to explain your thoughts and opinions behind every personal experience. You can just share. And that's when it starts leading into the emotional sphere, because there's also an overlap between the emotional sphere and the personal sphere. And these two spheres are highly connected, and it's almost inevitable that you go into the emotional sphere soon after the personal sphere, because it's just so connected. Once you start talking about personal experiences, it brings up emotions in you, as long as you're not like working really hard to just be matter of fact about everything and not let the feelings and emotions rise up. That's possible. You can do that. You can train yourself to just talk about your personal experiences without having emotions and feelings attached to it. But it's hard. It's really hard. And most people don't have that ability. So that's why the personal sphere, you kind of get into the emotional sphere really soon after. Hello, silent viewer on YouTube. How are you today? So yeah, this girl is cool. We're in the intellectual sphere. I've opened the door of the personal sphere. I'm waiting to talk to her to see if we both want to enter into the personal sphere. And then I can do a fairly good job at talking about personal experiences without attaching them to my emotions. I can do a pretty good job at that, because in the past I've kind of closed out my just emotional capability. Christopher Honeycutt, I'm great. How are you? Oh yeah, you commented on a couple posts, didn't you? It's good to see you here in the stream. I am also doing great. So it's good to hear that you're great. I'm great. We're all great. It's a gift from God every day. Woo! But yeah. I drank a big cup of coffee, and I don't drink that much coffee now, because during Ramadan I really didn't drink it whatsoever. And then after it, I'm at most having it every other day. I might do less, but at most I'm going to do every other day. So today I drank a big cup of coffee, and I'm talking fast. I'm hyped. I'm feeling great, because coffee is a great drug. It induces euphoria. It makes you happy. It makes you love everything you're doing and just connect to it so much more. And, so you're wired. I am wired, 100% wired. Like, I am usually not talking this fast and concise and just going from one thing to the next. Usually there's a bit of lag. I'm like slow, like this. But right now I'm just zoop. I swear I'm not on meth. Just coffee. But it's great. Like, when you don't drink coffee every day, when you aren't dependent on it, and just like, you don't wake up in the morning and immediately make your pot of coffee and start drinking it. Like, you feel the effects so much more. Helps you out too. Coffee's great, man. It's amazing. There's a reason why everybody is so hooked on it, and it's had a massive impact on society since its birth. Like, It allowed us to start working at nights and having the night shift. It allowed us to start being so much more productive. And that it's been used in negative ways as well with that. Like, because we're supposed to have a circadian rhythm, like rise with the sun, go to bed at when the sun sets type of thing. And with coffee, it introduced a means of like a large, very easily accessible means to not have to do that. You can just, wake up whenever you want, have your coffee, or not, and wait until nighttime when the sun goes down and have your coffee. And then you can just work all night. Like, you don't need the sun, you have coffee. So that's what it's done to us, kind of. It's made us, we have the choice now to be nocturnal creatures if we want, and shortcut or get rid of our circadian rhythm, not rely on it, and just rely on drugs. And it's a very easily accessible drug to most people in the world, or at least in Western society. Everybody runs off this shit, and it's easily abusable. But it's also great. I fucking love it. It's amazing. Truly. I think I have a coffee ground in my teeth. That with adjusting your body's sleep schedule. Yes. Yes. During Ramadan, I was waking up at 5:30 most days so that I could eat breakfast before the sun rises. And with that, like, I was going to bed way earlier than I ever had before. Like, some nights I was going to bed at 10. Most nights it was like 10:30, 11, because I'm used to going to bed at like midnight or 1 o'clock. Like, I'm usually a night owl. But when you're waking up before the sun rises, it's like, okay, by the time the sun sets, I'm getting tired. I'm like, I want to go to sleep. I'm going to have supper, and then I'm going to take a bath and relax. And then it's like, yeah, I'm ready to sleep. So if you do adjust your body's sleep schedule to coincide with the rise and set of the sun, I think it makes you healthier. It's a natural rhythm that we're supposed to be on, in my opinion, because our body works that way. We do have a circadian rhythm, and it regulates our hormones and makes us just better functioning human beings if we're in line and synchronous with that rhythm. And when we get out of rhythm, we're just like, we're weird. We're weird. We're like almost, I don't want to say less human, but we're kind of like we're using substances to create a less human environment for ourselves. It's really like we're creating a material environment where we can rely on our material things like drugs and substances to do what we want at whatever time. We don't need to rely on the heavens above. We have it here. Like, we can make our choice to just rely on the material means and the physical world to do anything at any time, rather than rely on the sun and the moon to guide our days and live in synchronicity with our circadian rhythm. And the days that God has laid out for us. So yeah, you can choose to follow God's plan and do your best to be in line with it and follow that path, or you can go astray and do whatever the fuck you want. But it probably won't turn out good for you if you do that. It's just, it's probably not a good choice. Do it if you want. It's your choice, but probably not good. Exactly. God's design is always best. Exactly. If you want to create your own reality, go for it. Try. It's not going to work. There is a reality, capital R. And people want to create their own realities. You see it everywhere. Being gay is good. Abortion is healthcare. This, and that. Transgender is being who you are. Like they're so courageous to chop their dicks off. Wow. Like fucking retards. No. There's a God's design, God's plan. You were brought into this world for a purpose. And the gender you were born as is the start of that purpose and his plan for you. It all starts at conception. And then it all starts at birth once you're actually in the world. And if you just want to completely go against what you were born into, the gender you were born as, everything, by being gay or trying to be the other gender, like, go for it. Try and create your own reality. It's not going to turn out good for you. I guarantee it. You're going to get fucked over. If you want to chop your dick or chop your boobs off, there's a good possibility that you become suicidal and want to kill yourself. Good chance. I don't wish that on anybody, but if that's the path you choose, if you try and create your own reality and ignore the capital R reality, that is the outcome. Every single time you become depressed, you become anxious because you're ignoring the truth and trying to create your own, which is impossible. You cannot create truth. There is truth, there is reality, and those are real, and you cannot create your own. All you can do is accept it. Accept it for what it is, and then you will be better off. You will live a more simple and relaxed life. You will not be anxious all the time. You will not get depressed. You're not going to want to kill yourself. But when you ignore reality and deny it and try and create your own, you will always be in conflict with the world around you. The internal headspace, the reality you've created for yourself, and the framework you have is always going to be out of sync with actual reality. And there's always going to be conflict between what's in here and what's out here. And you're never going to be synchronous. It's just going to lead you down a dark path. It's sad when people live outside the will of God and ignore reality. Yes, it is. And it's all personal choice. So, everybody is here to learn something. We're all here to learn a specific lesson. Whatever incarnation you're going through, you're here for a purpose. You're here to learn something, and it's different for everybody. Everybody is on a different part of the cycle. So, Christopher Honeycutt, what's up with you? Who are you? Where'd you come from? How old are you? I'm interested. Okay, the stream on Instagram is ending right now, so peace out, bitches. Don't be a bitch. 3, 2, 1. That's done. Share. Write a caption. Not sure what I should post this as. 7 spheres of intimacy. Rudolf Steiner / Anthroposophy. Sure. Perfect. Yeah, doing great. Anything, Christopher? Obviously, you know who I am. I'm just some retard, and you're choosing to listen to me for some reason, which is cool. I like having people to chat with. I do a fairly good job at just talking to myself when I have to. I live in Florida. I'm 44, married with 3 stepsons and 3 grandchildren. Congratulations. That sounds awesome. So I want to say, did you maybe get married like kind of recently, or like not when you were young? Because if you have three stepsons and none of your own biological children, which is okay, I'm not faulting you for that at all. I'm just guessing that you got married at a later time in life where she already had kids, and you've got grandchildren, which is awesome. You're 44 and you've got three grandchildren. Crushing. Fucking crushing, dude. That's awesome. By the time you're like 60 something, you're going to be hopefully, God willing, be a great grandfather. Like that's amazing. You could live to be a great great grandfather, God willing. Like that is awesome. That is generational beauty. If you get to live with that, like that's so good. I hope it happens for you. Florida, though, yeah, it's a bit different from where I'm at. Found out about you when you wrote into Owen a few weeks ago. Cool. That's awesome. Been listening ever since. My wife already had children when I married her at 29. Okay. So, yeah, I'll try not to probe too much into your circumstances and why you don't have biological children. That's totally okay. Good for you that you have a wife, that you have children and grandchildren. Like, all good, bro. It's awesome. And that's awesome that you came here from my super chat to Owen. I really wondered when I sent that if like I was like, okay, obviously a lot of people hear this stream. Somebody has to hear the name Just Some Retard and be like, oh, I'm gonna check that out. Let's look that up on YouTube. I was like, somebody, at least one person has got to check it out. And I didn't do it for that reason. But after I sent the super chat, I was like, huh, I just realized that I plugged my YouTube channel in the super chat and probably told like thousands of people about it. So I'm like, okay, at least one person has to hear that and be like, let's see what Just Some Retard has to say. Nice and warm here. It's hilarious. What's hilarious? Yeah, you get Florida weather. I get Wisconsin weather. It was 80 degrees here for like 3 days straight a couple weeks ago, and now it's back down to like 30 something every day. Like, it's kind of bullshit. I'm a little annoyed, honestly, but so be it. Hopefully in 2 weeks, once we're a little bit into May, we'll get consistent good weather of like 60s and above, I'm hoping. But Wisconsin is fucked up, man. I love it here. It's a great place. Oh, you describing your letter to Owen and that whole situation was hilarious. Yeah. Thanks. I knew that he wouldn't bite when I asked him. I was like, hey, you could talk to me. I'm just some retard on YouTube. I knew he wouldn't bite, but I just wanted to do it anyways because I think it would be cool if no way. What? No way. You've never seen snow in person. So I'm guessing you've lived in Florida your entire life and you've never moved out in the winter months then? Dude, that is insane. I find that hard to believe, but yeah, I've heard people say that. It's like, oh yeah, I've never seen snow. It's like, what? What the fuck? That's very weird. Watch that. They'll start somehow creating snowfall in Florida at some point, and they'll be like, global warming, it's snowing. Yeah, you travel to cold places in the summer. Makes sense. I mean, why would you leave Florida when it's cold and snowing everywhere else, but you have 70-degree weather? Like, that would be pretty stupid. So I understand your logic. Oh, yeah. But I was saying, like, I do think it would be really cool to see a younger person talk to Owen at some point if he, like, found somebody he wanted to talk to. Because obviously the good majority of bears are at least 30 and up. Most, like, lots of 40-year-olds, lots of 50-year-olds too, 60-year-olds. Just there's lots of older people that listen to him. Older from my standpoint, because I'm 21. So if I would love to hear someone from my generation, Gen Z, talk to him. I think that would be really cool. And just you know, share the different perspectives that those generations have. Like, Owen is twice the age of me. Well, it's like twice the age and half a year. Or, yeah, 21 and a half years older than me. Because I think his birthday is the 24th. I think that's what he said. My birthday is the 25th of May. So we're only one day away from each other. And so he'll turn 43 the day before I turn 22. So he's 21 years older than me. And I am 21. He's 42 right now. So it's like he's double the age of me right now, but not quite. Almost. But yeah. I'd love, I'm going to go to the festival in September, Labor Day. Are you going to the festival, Christopher? I can't wait. I am hyped. I'm going to I did a stream on Instagram, the first one, and had a few bears watching, and Joe Gagan popped in. He was listening, and after he asked me if I was going to the festival. I said, yeah, I'm planning on it, and he was just saying it'll be fun to meet me, and he looks forward to it. And I was like, yes, I get to meet Joe Gagan. This is gonna be fucking lit. I can't wait. How dare you? How dare you, Christopher? I was with you, Christopher Honeycutt, until you said you can't go to the festival. How dare you? I was with you. No, you're nothing to me. You're nothing. Get out of here. I was with you, Christopher. What the hell? No, that sucks, actually. It would be cool. It would be cool if you came. Then I'd meet you in person. Like, it would be fucking awesome. That's my that's what two things I look forward to the most. Meeting bears in person that I've talked to online, and seeing Owen in person and watching his comedy stand-up special that he's doing there. Like, those two things are going to be fucking amazing. I can't wait. And just forming community, it's just going to be such a blast. Meeting old friends for the first time. Whew, can't wait. And then, yeah, $80, that's it. $80 plus means of transportation and how to get there. I can't wait. It's so worth it. Oh boy, I gotta pee. Fuck. Fuck. Shit. Christopher, how long do you want to stay here chatting? Because I could go for another 20, 30 minutes or so if I just went out to pee real quick. Otherwise, I'm just going to cut this short and peace out. It would be super cool. I'm Word of God Bear. Oh, cool. On the Bertari Times app and Telegram. Word of God Bear. That's a good name. I am 0112358 on Bertari Times because I changed it to that without adding bear, and then I couldn't change it for another month. I think I could change it now. Fuck, I gotta be. Here, I'm gonna go pee in my backyard, and if you're still here when I get back, we can keep chatting. If not, I'll. Woo! Big P. Big P. You're at the end of your lunch. Okay. Well, it was good chatting with you. That's cool you popped in during lunchtime. I wish you the best of luck with the. Yeah, much better. I'm not holding my bladder intensely anymore. But it was kind of like, people say if you hold your bladder, you can focus better. Like if you have to pee and then you don't pee immediately, like you focus more and like you're just wired a little bit. So I was feeling that, but it got to a point where I was like, I need to pee. When are you usually live? It varies because I don't have a very consistent work schedule currently. Whenever I have a free morning, I like to go live at 10 a.m. Central Time because I live in Wisconsin, and sometimes I'll stream at night. I did that for a long time, like a lot of times I'd stream at midnight and just talk for an hour or something before bed. But I haven't done that much recently because I'm on a different schedule and whatnot. So when I do stream, it's usually at 10 a.m. Central Time. And I'd like to get a consistent schedule to where, I can try and stream most days at a specific time. But, right now my life is just a bit hectic. I'm going through, getting new jobs and don't have a set schedule. So, someday I will try and be more consistent. But right now, I just talk when I can, and it's fun every time. And usually it's at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, whatever it's called. I don't know. But now that Owen streams later in the afternoon, totally understand that. We'll definitely chat again soon. Yes, it's good to have you here. I appreciate the chat, and I wish you best of luck with the rest of your day. Word of God, Bear. Good name. So yeah, I am going to end the stream then as well because it's been an hour and 15, which is a bit longer than I usually go. And I'm happy to do it. This was fun. I had my coffee, so I was wired. So it makes sense why I'm able to just keep talking. Yes, take care. Peace out. Don't be a bitch.